Yeah, it's pretty sad news, isn't it, that Hollow Knight Silksong did not release as planned. No, I'm only joking, it did. And my goodness, do I want to talk about it. Well, if like me, you were sat waiting trying to purchase Silksong and you're one of the lucky ones to get through what essentially amounts to the crashing of every single major platform, including Steam, well, you may be sat just enjoying Silksong already, but if you're one of the unlucky ones, you might want to know how it runs, the performance, what exactly the Switch 2 version is like, and what you're going to get. Well, straight away, I will say you do have the option for 120Hz if your TV supports it. The game features achievements which are baked into it, so even on Switch we get to enjoy them, with 50 different achievements to unlock, many of which are secret from the get-go, but notable ones like speedrunning the game in under 5 hours are one of the options, meaning that you can complete Silksong in under 5 hours. There is a HUD size option. You can switch between small, large or off if you'd rather have a completely clear HUD. Other than that, you can turn camera shake on and off, and there's full button remapping so that you can set the controls to exactly suit your own preference. The narrative begins with Hornet in captivity. She's being carried across a vast bridge when she manages to escape. She seems to have some form of affliction early in the game, possibly relating to her capture, as she finds herself in the region of Farloom. You've got a very clear goal straight away to reach the citadel at the top of this place, and thus begins the Great Ascension. Hornet herself is much more verbose than her predecessor, often engaging in dialogue, and there's much more of a character created there. That is all the story you'll get from me about this game, probably even in the full review, but visually speaking we are looking at something very similar to the original Hollow Knight in the best possible way. Multiple layers stacked on top of each other to give that lovely parallax effect. More motion in some of those, so foreground items will be swaying, but you, as mentioned, can turn off things like camera shake if that affects you. We've got a nuanced implementation of HD rumble, such as when you swing your weapon or destroy foliage, and they've actually upped the speed with which you can control the camera movement for looking up and down, which is nice. As before, you will need to rest at benches, and that's where you'll respawn, and the vertical nature of the experience means that very often, if you decide to go exploring, you may find yourself dropping all the way back down and having to make your way back. Very classic Hollow Knight. There is one minor bug already that I found relating to the HUD. If you set it to off, just marking around in the menus before you go into the game, and then set it to on, it won't actually be visible. You need to go into the menus and then set that back on. Not a huge deal, but I was wondering where all my information was. One of the game's currencies appears to be rosary beads this time around, which ties in with the idea of a pilgrimage to the summit. Like before, you will need to find maps in the world, and you can buy pins to let you pin things like benches, and even purchase a compass to help you find your way back. One area that is new to the experience are quests, so they're actually mini quests that are optional. I guess they intend to give you a little more purpose as you explore the world, and also push you into exploring, because in the original game, lots of players who finish the game never really finish the game. There's so much more to see. And you'll also unlock the first of the fast travel methods within the first hour of play. For those of the curious disposition, here is the 120 frames per second mode, captured at 120 frames per second. Side by side, can you see a difference? Probably not, because YouTube's rubbish and it only has a 60 frames per second max limit, but I can tell you that they do feel ever so slightly different. It's more a feeling of responsiveness. Now, that's not to say that the 60 FPS mode on the Switch 1 or Switch 2 isn't responsive, because it absolutely is, but you know what I mean. There's just a feeling that it's ever so slightly quicker to respond, which in a game like Silksong is certainly going to be welcome when you're facing tougher bosses. Overall, as I'm sure you expected, performance is absolutely flawless. I haven't seen a single hitch or drop. I have noticed a lot of screen shake and screen shake effects, but you have the option to turn those off if you don't like them. I actually quite enjoy the chunky feeling it gives. Also, I think for me personally, getting used to the slightly larger character model of Hornet is going to take an equal bit of getting used to. Now, handheld performance, let's show some Switch 1 footage, because there'll be some of you that want to know exactly how that's performing. And in handheld, just as with docked mode, both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 are more than capable of running this one maxed out without any drops. The only drop you'll see in this footage, by the way, is whenever the screen shake occurs. It's not actually a drop, but the way the software registers frame rates, it often registers a screen shake effect as a frame drop. So just bear that in mind. I guess the biggest difference between the two versions is the resolution, with the Silksong on Switch 2 running at 4K and at HD 1080p on Switch 1. There is definitely a very slight difference, but that's it really. Just a very, very slight, crisper visual on Switch 2. So yeah, as mentioned at the start of the video, I will not be rushing through this one. This is simply performance, just showing you how it's running on both the Switch 1 and 2, and as we can see, not a problem at all. For the price they're asking, this is crazy. It is interesting, isn't it, that you can complete the game in 5 hours. Do not mistake that for the game can be completed by the average person in 5 hours though. That's a speedrun specific achievement, which I should imagine is flipping difficult. My impressions so far, well, is exactly what I expected. From the way it looks, to the way it performs, to the atmosphere they've created. I think clearly they're going for more of a character with Hornet, and that's already playing out in some of the dialogues. The world as well is more inhabited than Hollow Knight. There have already been a number of secret areas that I've been able to find that are filled with interesting things to see and do. You unlock things like fast travel much quicker, but I've not yet unlocked a dash move, although the silk mechanic's quite interesting, giving you those more powerful special moves, such as the Silk Spear, and that ties into its Metroidvania nature, letting you progress to new areas. It just, yeah, it's difficult not to overhype it, which is why I'm not going to give you too much. I think it's up to you to decide, have a play of it, but it is just what I expected in a good way so far. One area that's gone beyond my expectations though is the audio. The sound quality and the overall audio presentation in terms of the soundtrack thus far. Yeah, of course the original was amazing, but I didn't really expect they'd be able to improve it, and they definitely have. It feels more emotive to me, and I love the way it's switching so often between the new areas as they're introduced. Now enemies, they feel great. It starts you out with this false sense of security, nice squishy ones, a couple of dashing enemies, and they are very quickly ramping up. The little tool system as well seems to make sense. It seems like they've built upon the mechanics previously where you had those medallions. But as I said, yeah, I will just be playing this at a nice leisurely pace. I mean, I say leisurely pace. I'm basically going to play it non-stop probably for the next 3 or 4 days, 100% it. And I'll bring you the review, the 100% review, like really everything I could possibly do. I'm sure there'll be some areas that I can't reach or that I can't beat at this stage. I remember the arena, it kicked my ass many, many times before I actually got around to finishing it. But it will be a review, I think, worthy of the game. So it's going to have lots and lots of detail, but no story spoilers. Chiefly. I sincerely hope you're not watching this and that you are playing the game, but if you have watched it, I really appreciate it. Glen and I have put out videos of Star Wars Outlaws, incredibly good port. Go check that one out. Chronos, The New Dawn, or whatever it's called. Basically Dead Space with time traveling and slightly less accurate gunplay. Fun game. We haven't got our full review of that one out yet, but we do have a performance review. And of course, yeah, Silksong, which you're looking at right now. Let me know down in the comments, are you as excited as I am? Or maybe you're someone that never played Hollow Knight. I know there'll be a bunch of you out there. All I can say to you is play Hollow Knight. Thank you to our Patreons, our members, and as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya.